Yo, good morning. Let's get into this thing today. Um, Today is Monday, the 24th, August 24th, 2020. Um, Two stocks we're going to talk about today, BRQS and Cgix. Okay. First one, first one I want to get into is BRQS. So that's this top one up here. So let's get into BRQS. As you can see, had a nice spike pre-market from 86 cents, topping at $1 in the $1.50s, which is almost a 100% move. If we go take a look at the news, okay, so it had Technologies receives a purchase order for $15 million. So that's good news. And as you can see, it's still playing out. It could very much well keep going. I am just completely out of day trades. So I mean, this thing could keep running. As you can see, so at least I want to get into the last video I made about me coming into the market after 7 o'clock. So originally I had stated that I wanted to wake up pre-market, set everything pre-market, shut my laptop, come back at 7 o'clock. Well, the more I was reviewing data, I was going through my data. I have over 200 examples that I went through looking at the times a day, and I found that the odds could change in my favor after 6:50. So I decided to just put a sticky pad on the front of my screen saying do not open until 6:45 a.m. Because you typically have a better chance at profitability after that point in time. As you can see, BRQS looks like it is still running. It's up in the 180s, which is exactly where I purchased it at. I purchased it at $1.8184. So let's get into that. This is the 5-minute candle. Let's get to the 1 minute. Yeah, man, this thing is starting to have a nice trend, man. It's got a squeeze. As you can see, this huge blue bar right here is a nice candle, a nice indicator for it to squeeze past its high. So originally I played this twice. So the breakout, the pre-market high was at 154, which I completely missed because, like I said, I came into the market around 6:45. So when I seen this, this had already played out. This is 6:44. This is 6:43. Yeah, this thing's looking like it's about to run. It looks like I just completely mistimed it. Again, as you can see, it's starting to run after 7 o'clock, as I stated. Yeah, see, I'd be in the profit range right now. On actually both my executions, I would have actually already made profit. Let's see, how many shares did I buy? 531 at 165. Yeah, so 20. Yeah, I'd have been out about 11% profit right now. Waiting for it to crack that 188. But okay, let's get into it. So as I'm noticing this boom in this pullback, as you can see, this wick right here tapped the 188. Okay, I was anticipating that break and I bought it. It just so happened to execute me right at the top of this. So when I hit my order, I was expecting the break, okay, and it just wound up pulling back and executing me at 181. And then as you can see, then at 94, in this candle at 649, I winded up exiting at 168 and took, I believe, a 7% loss, I believe. Let's see. Come on. But it ain't going down no more. Oh no, I fucking shit don't want to go down. Oh, it's because I got this up. Let's see. Boom, boom. Okay, yeah, I think I took about a, see, and it's completely broke through now. I would have been completely in my plus 13 range. So, you know, on the right track, okay? So you guys got to realize this, including myself, that, you know, these stocks are extremely volatile, all right? Again, I think I need to go back to focusing more on just one. BRQS was one of the top percent gainers on the watch list this morning on the scans. Broke through, so that would have been a 30%, or that would have been a 30-cent profit on over 500 shares. So that was over 15% right there from 165 to 195. So anyway, so I took my exit, took my -6 as I seen this curl, I seen this pop in this candle. So that's when I wanted to get in. Let's go over here. You know what? Okay, we're gonna run this by the day, okay? So originally I had got in BQRS, okay? Or I'm sorry, BRQS. I had got in at 647, which was this candle right here, anticipating this break, but it did not break. It just double topped and came straight down. Boom, boom. I took my 7% loss. I waited for the curl. I seen the curl right here. Now that I'm looking this play out, in reality, I should have just waited for it to break this 188, which it broke and now it pulled back. So I would have probably took another 6% loss right there. So dip buying the curl. So like I've said before, I do like morning spikes, and then buying the reversal, the morning spike reversal. So as I'm noticing this reverse, I'm very proud of myself for sticking to my plan. As I've said before, I've been really good at executing as far as entries, and I've been really good as far as cutting losses. The 4 times I should have been plus 13, I wound up cutting it early and being plus 6, plus 5, up just barely. Which in the long term, in the macro, I have to be sure that I'm executing plus 13 or more when those opportunities present themselves. So when I noticed this curl, I bought it over this break over here. So let's get into this at 659. So in this candle, after it broke, I bought it in here. 65 shares, and again it executed me at the top of the candle and dropped, but as I said, -6 plus 13. So I made sure to solidify that in my mind for each particular time I place a trade, it must be -6 plus 13. It's a must that it maintains the -6 plus 13 area for the long term, for the macro. Okay, so I was actually very proud of this because I stayed in it the whole time. Even when it tested in this area down here, it had hit 6 really fast and then bounced up. And then when it broke this high right here with this candle, then I said, okay, good. This thing could have legs to get back up to this 188 area. Which would have been about a 23-cent profit. And if we go do 0.23 times 5, yeah, see, that would have been about a 12% profit. So roughly close, but obviously I wanted it to break the high right here. So yeah, it got really choppy in here, but I was actually very proud of me maintaining the whole time. I just kept it in my head, -6 plus 13, -6 plus 13. And so I let this play out until it hit this candle, and then I went back to -6 again, and that time I cut it immediately. Unlike this candle, as you can see, when it hit -6 down here, it just immediately popped back. So that allowed me to stay in it just slightly longer. And then this thing had its rip to 95. So if I would have been in it 165 to 195, that would have been over a 15% profit. And it's looking like this thing is continuing to go now, back crack right over the high of day mark. So again, takeaway from this particular trade, I had two trades. Getting in this candle, anticipating this break, and winded up not breaking. It just winded up double topping, and I took my 7% loss. And then when it came back, reversed for breaking this high candle it made, I was in at this candle, and then I exited. Where did I exit? Yeah, 7-Eleven. Exited in this candle right here when it started retesting those bottoms, which it actually double bottomed, and then it ripped. So overall, as far as my execution goes, and as far as my timing on this trade, again, I should have let it break over instead of just double topped. And then at this reversal, this was a beautiful entry. It just wound up tapping 6 twice. So the second time it tapped, I made sure that I was out, and then now it ripped for over a 15% gain. -7, -6 for a total of -13 for that particular play, and now it's starting to run without me. Another reason why it is important to this was exactly the reason why I wanted to make sure I had 3 brokerage accounts instead of just one. Realistically, I would love to be over to PDT specifically for these reasons, because, you know, -7, -6, and then I could have easily got back in when it drew back up, and now it's going and touching 199, making a new high of the day. And it's bringing strength. As you can see, the volume started fading. These blue lines are the volume, and then look now where the volume's at. So we're getting a lot of strength here. So I mean, this thing could very well keep going. Yeah, this thing could very well keep running. And then if we go over here, like I said, exactly what I like to see. And the history of this chart shows this thing could run here. Shows it could run here. Market cap is 27.61 million. That meets my criteria. Flow is 13.6 million. Meets my criteria. Let's see. And then 1.5, 16. Yeah, so it was already trading the float by the time I entered. But yeah, this thing is starting to gain its strength now. But again, instead of collecting my 13%, I am down 13% on this particular play. But again, market cap met my criteria. Float met my criteria. Was a top percent gainer on the pre-market scanners. Had a purchase order of 15 million for mobile point of sale device in India. Broke of a pre-market high, which I completely missed, and now it's breaking into the 2s, which I am now completely missing. But like I said, -6 plus 13. It did tap the -6. I just mistimed this. If I would have had the patience to just wait for the actual break, because if we look in here, 1 did not actually break. It topped at 188, but I purchased at that very top. Okay? And then 2, this morning spike reversal is actually a very good execution. It just happened to tap 6 twice, like right on the 6. Because like I said, I was -7 and then -6, which is why I'm down 13%. But man, it just, man, it was so close to being just above 6, and if it would have just maintained that, but it tapped 6, so I couldn't take the risk of staying in. That's part of the game, you know. If it hits your risk level, you make sure you get out every time, because this thing could have very well tanked to this bottom, and then I would have been down, you know, 10%. Okay, and now it's, you know, in the 105s. So, you know, if we do the math, I mean the 205s. So if we do the math, 205 minus 165, 40-cent profit, times that by 531, I would have been up 21% profit right now. Okay, so that's exactly why I play these things. They are really choppy, but like I said, in the long term, even in my data, I have where I've had multiple losses in a row. But again, we're in August. August is typically a slower month for trading, and I'm overall, you know, as long as I stick to -6 plus 13 in the long run, my strategy is going to work. So today, minus 13% on this particular trade. But you got to ask yourself, right? Did it meet your criteria as far as market cap? Yes. Did it meet your criteria as far as float? Yes. Did it have news? Yes. Where was the volume? The volume was looking good. It was trading about the float. The chart pattern, now you look at the chart pattern. The chart pattern looks good. As you can see, spike, pulls back, breaks the high up here, pulls back, breaks this high up here, pulls back. So if I realistically, I should have just waited for it to break, because I would have got in at 188. And if I would have bought this break, I would have definitely probably took a loss right here. And then when it started climbing back, potentially got back in, and I'd be up like 20 cents. 20 cents on a little over 500 shares, so I'd probably be up about 11% right now. You know, but so you got to ask yourself, like I said, did it meet all your criteria? Did you follow your plan? And this thing now just continues to squeeze 214. This is exactly what I wanted it to do. Just this double bottom happened to hit 6, -6. So had to take my -6, and now it's running without me. But overall, this trade was a beautiful trade. BRQS, exactly what I was looking for as far as meeting all my criteria. Exactly what I wanted it to do as far as what it's doing now. I just had to exit with my -6. I couldn't take the risk of it falling further. Like I said, when you're playing these things live, you don't know which direction they're going to go. And when it starts testing the bottom again, and I'm seeing -6 over here in the red, I need to get out. It's a must. I have to. It's part of the plan. So BRQS, overall, happy with the trade. Watching it run without me stings a little bit because it barely hit -6. I mean, this was -6, -5.9, you know, like right there. But I had to take it, man. It was right there in my range of taking my loss, and now I'm watching this beautiful thing move without me. You know, topping at 220 right now, and I was in at 165, so that's a 55-cent profit on 531 shares, which is, you know, about, you know, 28% profit, which would have been beautiful if I would have been able to capture that. Again, I think another thing I need to work on is focusing on one particular ticker. I did execute my first trade in this candle. As I said, I didn't wait for it looked like it was going to break. When you see this huge strong candle here, this nice strong candle, and then it opened right here at the top of the candle and ran straight up. So I was expecting it to have a bust like this candle. So see this strong candle run and then bust. That's what I was really expecting when it shot up, but it just so happened to double top. Okay, and I anticipated the break. This was a really good execution on a morning spike reversal. like I said, just barely tapped my 6 because it tapped here, but it pulled back so fast. Now, right when I had my finger on the button, it was -5, and then these green candles started coming in. So then I went green, and then I went from red to green. And then when it broke this high, I'm like, okay, now it's really gaining strength. But then when it cracked back down, back to the -6 again. At that time, I did not want to risk it, so I cut my loss. So overall, 2 trades, -13%, which is, equivalent to -6.5% each. So, overall, everything met my criteria. Everything met my criteria. And as I said, I'm very proud of my executions of sticking to -6 plus 13 with this trade. And as you can see, this is exactly why I do, because this is the beauty of it. It's in the 2s now, and I was in at 165. Even if this would have ran, I was in at 181. That's still a 40% move, or a 40-cent move on 500 shares. That's 20%. So, yeah, the BRQS is my exact example of things I like to trade. Beautiful. The chart pattern was nice, a little choppy, but I'm used to the choppiness. Okay, I'm used to it, which is why I have a -6. I didn't just make up -6. I got -6 due to my data. On average, with the trades I like to play, on average they pull back 8% on average. Okay, and that's out of 200 examples of this particular pattern. So if on average they pull back 8%, I'm comfortable with 6. Okay, 8% is a little too much for me if I'm collecting 13%. Okay, so I mean, even if I changed it to 8, I would have definitely stayed in it and then definitely collected 20%, or at least the minimum of my 13%. But overall, it was a good trade. Okay, you guys have to remember this when it comes to sticking to your plan and sticking to your process. If you stick to your process, it's a good trade. It doesn't matter if you're red or green. What matters is you sticking to your process. Your process is more important than whether you're red or green on the day. And this thing continues to make new highs. Just cracked a 223, because this is still playing out live. So, just an example of what really goes on, and the track that I'm on. I'm very close. Like, I'm at the very edge right now, okay? I'm at the edge of breaking through that barrier of just profitability. I'm getting very close. But like I said, this is a great trade. Just wanted up taking my loss on it. Now let's go into CGIX. CGIX was the second ticker of the day that I traded. And this one wound up being -3.5%, but it did hit 6. It just so happened when I executed the order, it popped really fast, and I got out, so I'm actually very grateful for that. But I did stick to the plan of -6 plus 13. So let's go over here. Okay, so I had bought in over this break at 656. So again, CGIX, as you can see, let's look at the news. This CGIX was the top percent gainer this morning on the pre-market scans. And it had a merger deal, I believe. Yeah, Cancer Genetics and Thermomix signed definitive agreement to merge. Yeah, so a merger deal. So it went from 284 all the way to the 1030s. I mean, that's a huge move. Okay, that's what, over a 300% move. So again, I waited for the market. Let's get in this area. Okay, again, I waited for the market. 656. So in this candle, and typically similar to BRQS, I was anticipating the break here over this 943 area, okay? That's where I had 105 shares ready at the 903, okay? So when this popped, let's get closer because it does look like it broke over. It did break, yes, it did. Okay, so when this actually broke this top, I hit a buy the market, and it just so happened to drop, and it executed me down here. So execution wise, that would have been fine because it did break. Okay, so I was buying the break of this high, and when I hit the market order, it executed me down here at $9.26. Okay, and then it just tanked. Okay, but now, okay, that was right here. Okay, but then it just tanked. Okay, so then in this candle, let's see, in this candle, so if you can see at the very bottom, 868. So, you know, do the math. 926 minus 868. Okay, that was 0.58 times that by 105 shares. Hit my -6 area, as you can see. And so I had to exit in this candle, which I'm glad I did because it did have a little pop, and then it dropped even further into the 840s. And then it did wind up moving. I was anticipating it getting up here, which still wouldn't realistically, I was hoping it would break that point because even at that point I'd be up about a little over 10%. So overall, the execution of this trade, again, I was looking for a slight reversal because it had a nice trend. Got up here, boo, pulled back, broke its high. Came down again, broke its high. Came down again, broke its high. So you see the trend that I was seeing, and it just didn't hold strength, and now it died off. So which is why, because I placed my first trade in BRQS first, and then when I seen this moving, that's when I decided to play this instead of still focusing on BRQS, which Cgix. Let's get into the details. Let's see, Cgix, because Cgix also made my criteria. So you know, it's sticking to the plan to see what works. And as you can see, market cap 6.99 million, float 2.04 million, and it's already trading 58 million shares. Okay, so that is also fits my criteria to the T. Okay, this one just had the majority of the move pre-market, and then it dropped from the highs down here. So this could have even been a potential great dip buy at the 680s and then retouch. But again, you never know when you're watching these play out minute by minute, ticker by ticker, because this is what you're seeing. Just beep, beep, minute by minute. It's creating minute by minute. Okay? So, I just got a good execution as far as exiting, because as you've seen, it did hit the -6. And when I hit the sell button, it just wound up having a little pop and exited me at -3.46%, which that's cool. You know, but again, I followed my plan to the T, either -6 or +13. I have to solidify that in my mind, okay? As long as I stick to the plan. Did it meet my criteria as far as market cap? Yes. Did it meet my criteria as far as float? Yes. Did it meet my criteria on volume? Yes. Did it have news? Yes. Was it a top percent gainer? Yes. What did the chart? Was it a good chart? I like this chart, as you can see in this gradual climb area, that's beautiful. Did have a pullback, so morning spike reversal. Started having a nice trend again. Like I said, high, pullback, break a high, pullback, break a high, pullback, break a high. That is a good trend, okay? So you feel me? Like, yes, I am negative 16% on today, but overall, everything met my criteria, and as you can see with BRQS, it is still above. I would have already taken the profit there if I didn't hit -6, okay? So it hit -6. That's part of the process. Could I have been more patient and saved this trade from Cgix? Yes. Could I have been more patient with this right here and actually waited for it to break? Because if it didn't break, I would have just stayed in it and then would have purchased here and then got out here and then probably would have purchased some back when it started to break this area. But then I also might have took a loss there. You know, that is how these things are played out. That is how these things move, because in the long term, when it starts catching the trends, when the market is really hot and these things are popping, you know, there are examples where there's a zero pullback, like we had on BDR last week, okay? That was a 0% pullback. I just didn't execute it properly as far as plus 13, okay? And if I would have executed that properly plus 13, I would be in the green still right now, okay? Even after this -16 day, if I would have executed that perfectly, okay? I might be at break even right now, even though I have more red trades than green trades. But that is part of the process, okay? In the long term, it's part of the process. So I stuck to the process. I stuck to the plan. I waited till 6:45 to open my brokerage, which is now part of my new plan. And as you can see, it was actually the smart thing to do, even though I could have probably got this break right here. That break would have probably worked out in my favor, but like I said, it's a little too choppy for me in the morning. So now I set a new start time, 15 minutes after market open, just to counter that, to help with discipline. So overall, stick to the plan, stick to the process. That's exactly what I did today. So as I've stated, if you stick to the plan, stick to the process, it's always a great day trading. You live to fight another day, and maintain. But yeah, BRQS, man, it just had to tap my -6 before it had this 25% run. Hey, I can't be mad at that. I stuck to the plan, -6 plus 13, and that's what happened today. So overall, -7 here, -6 here, and -3.5 here, which again equivalents to less than 6%, which is great. We just got to get back on track with plus 13. The entries are great. Cutting losses is great. And today I did stay with the plan of either -6 plus 13 per trade. So that was beautiful. Stick to the plan, stick to the process. Everything will play out in the macro. Only lesson I can take from today is to actually wait for this specific break. It did break for Cgix, just barely broke over it by 1 cent. But whether it's 1 cent or 2 cents, it's still a breakout. So I did wait for the breakout, and this one just wound up. It did reach the target mark up here, but then now it's just fading out for the rest of the day. And then BRQS, this particular entry, I should have wait for the actual break. And the morning spike reversal entry was a great entry. It just so happened to tap the -6 on the head. Like it just smacked -6 right on the head before it ripped. So it was like it toyed with me, but hey, that's part of my plan. So it tapped my 6, I had to cut it. So, you know, it's part of the plan, man. And then there it goes ripping on a 25% plus run, you know, without me. You know, and I seen it. So overall, I stuck to the discipline of waiting till 6:45 to start. Overall, BRQS met all my criteria. Happy with this entry point here for the morning spike reversal, for breaking the intraday high. I should have let it actually break. It did double top. It had the strength to make me believe it was going to break, but you know, then it pulls back and I take a -7 on that one. This one most definitely maybe want to wait for the break. This one did break in Cgix. It just so happened to fail. Took a -3. So that one overall happy with. Even this one, to be honest, even BRQS, I stuck to the plan, I respected my risk, and I cut my losses. That's all I could do. Either -6 plus 13 per trade. -6 plus 13. If I stick to that all day, every day, then we win it. Okay? Again, I think I'm going to start again with starting time at 6:45. I like the way this happened to just play out because the move happened after 6:45. Like I said, in my data, it shows after 6:50. My odds shift a little bit in my favor by a few percentages. And I actually felt a lot better executing these trades after 6:45 than just hopping in at the market open. So I think I'm going to stick to the 6:45 area. And BRQS still has the potential to run. As you can see in the past, you know, it went from 168 to 846 in one day. This one went from $1 up to 778 in one day. So I mean, this one's just getting choppy, man. So I mean, this one could really go ahead and tap these tops and take off for something nice, which it very well still can. It already made a nice move from my previous entry point. From both my entry points, it broke and made plus 13%. Just this one pulled back way too much, and this one just so happened to hit right on the head of 6%. You know what I mean? So, you know, right there, man, it pulled back 6 exactly. Had to cut it. So, overall, everything met my criteria today. But -6 plus 13, man. Gotta stick to -6 plus 13. So, overall on the day, -16. That's an average of -5.5% per trade, which is great. Under -6, we just got to get better at executing at the plus 13 area instead of allowing any type of emotion to take over the thought process when it comes to exiting. So these videos are very, very helpful for me. Like I said, if anyone's watching, I hope it can help you in understanding a thought process behind executing an actual plan and an actual process. So hey, man, very happy with sticking to the process today. So yeah, man, process over everything, man. So that's it for today. BRQS, Cgix, day 5, minus 5.5% average per loss, which isn't bad. And as you can see, boom, boom, it just cracked back over to 2s. BRQS, exactly the kind of things I like to watch, man. Just patience. Patience is the key. So just got to let them play out. All right? So that's it for today. Yeah. So BRQS, Cgix, both met my criteria in all categories, which is beautiful. Cgix just so happened to not reach the plus 13, and so cutting my loss was beautiful. BRQS would have been plus 20 plus, but it happened to tap my -6, so -6 is my stop out, so I have to take it no matter what. You can't get greedy in this game. Even if things look good and you're down, you know, if your cut loss point is -6 or wherever your cut loss point is, whether the chart looks good or not, if it hits your loss point, get your ass out, period. All right? So overall, happy with the overall trades. Stick to the plan, stick to the process, and live to fight another day, man. All right, that's it for today.